Thank you, Mr. Lieutenant Governor. This is an honor. I'm standing up here introducing my friend Tom White. I would say that he has been and will always be someone who is committed to working for solutions for the common guy on the street. He's been that way as long as I've known him. I knew his father, know his father, admired his father as a Supreme Court Chief Justice, and Tom has carried on that tradition from Columbus to Omaha and now running for Congress, the tradition of thinking about everybody else first. He's done that over and over again. What are some of the hallmarks of his years here? Well, clearly his commitment to transparency in government and his success in and shepherding bills through on that issue, making sure that the public understands what we in government are doing. That's a big job, and he did it well. On tax policy, representing the little guy, the guy that isn't necessarily getting the tax breaks or whatever, but the guy that goes to work every day, the family, raising a family, sending his children to school. I remember when his son got into rice, and I'll leave it to Tom to talk about that. I think he talked about it for 2 weeks straight. I've never seen a prouder father than Tom talking about that experience and his son going to one of the very quality schools in the United States. I also remember Tom, and I will always remember Tom's ability to insert himself at just the right moment. I've never figured out how to do that, but when we were, I'm there every moment. Tom just waits for the right moment. But when we were doing the bill on education, the learning community, and I'm just pulling my hair out, and what do we do? And Ron's doing this, and everybody's kind of running around, and Tom races to the back of the room and into the lobby and comes back. We got a deal. I think, my gracious sakes, how do you do that? If I'm ever in need of an aggressive attorney, that's who I will choose, and Tom White. I want to lastly say this. I want to thank Tom, really, personally, as a lawyer, as a member of the Bar Association, as a member of this body. I want to thank him for the education that he gave us on the issues. Really, an immense ability to think, to be incisive, to work through the issues, and to help us get to a conclusion. Not necessarily the conclusion that he may have wanted when he started, but the right conclusion for this body. That's a gift. It's a gift that you're born with, that you carry on throughout your life, that you get from your family, your mother and your father. I'm very proud to call Tom White my friend. Congratulations. Thank you.
They are but leaves in an autumn wind, words, especially the words of men and politicians. And boy, has it been windy around here the last 4 years. And I want to thank the Speaker for scheduling me now. I was afraid I was going to have to follow Senator Stuthman, and that would have been difficult. I want to talk to you all briefly about words and what they mean. Really, they don't mean anything if they're just spoken. They're a colorful and momentary diversion of the coming of winter. It's only when they convey an idea, and it's only when they're heard and they convince, and then with conviction comes change, that they mean anything at all. And when they do become a matter of conviction, they become great stones on which the foundations of a great life can be built and a great society. And we are in a hall built on ideas that became stones. We are the only single body in the country. We are the only nonpartisan body in the country. And those were ideas that came from Senator George Norris. They started as words. They started as mere leaves blowing in the wind, and they turned into this hall of stone. And if ever those ideas needed to take root again in this country. It is now. Senator George Norris was a Republican, and yet when he was reelected 2 years after Franklin Delano Roosevelt was elected, FDR wrote a letter and said, "No electoral victory gave me greater pleasure than yours, Senator Norris." And reaching across party lines, Senator Norris worked with FDR in times at least as desperate and contentious as those we face today. And they reached across party lines, and together they created the Tennessee Valley Authority and reignited an economy and created a country that became the arsenal of democracy. And that was possible because George Norris didn't just speak those words, didn't just create this body. He went to a place where partisanship was the rule, where success was measured by small victories for politicians or parties rather than the advancement of the country and the people as a whole. And he did not forget the words that became ideas, that became convictions, that built this place and this institution. And because he did not forget them when he went to Washington, and because he was willing to take the punishment of his own party for reaching across party lines and working not for his personal advancement but for the country, those stones became the Norris Dam. They transformed one of the poorest areas of the country into one of the most prosperous. And he changed the lives of generations. We could desperately use George Norris again, but failing that, each and every one of us should take back into the country at large the lessons that George Norris taught us, because this country could sorely learn those lessons anew. It has been an honor to serve with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. That was brilliant.